All right, guys. Well, welcome to the Home Cook Streamcast, the 14th stream. I am Lennon's Kitchen. Okay. And as you can tell, I am solo today. Okay. I want to clarify a couple of things. Okay. First of all, congratulations to Mr. Jelly Biscuit for being declared the best food item of 2020. Uh, Congratulations, Albert Rivera, for beating Mr. Dark Turkey Meat in the food decision election. You did a great job. Now, speaking of the two candidates that I just mentioned, there are going to be some changes to this show. Okay, as you can tell, Mason is not with me. Okay, not because of anything bad. It's because he wants to take a little hiatus till January. So he will not be with me until January 2021. That is when he will make his return. Albert, unfortunately, has decided to leave the Home Cook Streamcast for just to have more time on Saturdays. So that's why y'all don't see other people here with me. So looks like I'll be flying solo today. I know this show isn't going to be as fun-filled and exciting as it usually is. I tried getting other people here, but no luck. But anyways, guys, so for today, I have the link in the chat. Now, here's the deal, okay? I have some rules specified in the chat here. The link is in the chat for a specific reason, okay? Today, we're going to be talking about two subjects that pretty much probably can relate to many of us here, especially during this recent pandemic, okay? Hunger and diabetes, okay? Now, many people and families have been affected by the recent pandemic. And my heart, thoughts, and prayers go out to those that have truly been affected. All right. Hunger is a never-ending thing. Okay? It is never-ending. And the thing that we need to be aware of is this pandemic has really been a highlight since it began. Remember, we had panic shopping back when it started, which was early March. Okay, March all the way through May. Grocery stores were wiped clean. Grocery shelves were wiped clean. All your food essentials and stuff were gone. Okay, why? Because food was scarce at the time. All right. Lockdowns were issued through many states and cities and counties, and of course, stay-at-home orders were placed as well. Remember way back when I started this Home Cook Streamcast thing, I said that we were going to talk about food delivery and services, which we did. Delivery services played a huge role, okay? Before, not many curbside or delivery from grocery stores existed until just this past several months back, okay? Grocery stores saw a huge impact in sales, Okay. And again, panic shopping was the number one issue. Though many people were able to buy a ton of food for them to overcome, the pandemic and the struggles. Sadly, others ended up not having either little to nothing to eat whatsoever. Why? Because people kept buying and buying and buying and buying an increasingly amount of items, not thinking twice about many people that are actually struggling. You're talking about unemployment numbers increasing and uh, supply and demand, just all those types of issues. Okay. Now, like I said before, hunger is a never ending thing. Okay. And I'm going to talk about my thoughts. And if you guys have any stories, the link is in the description or is in the chat. I did make a rule specifically that only if it pertains to these two subjects at hand, I will allow you in this panel. Okay? For all my mods, if there's any negativity or any trolling, it will not be accepted. Okay? Mods will have full permission to either delete, ban, block, or report any comments that are negative or troll. Okay? Let me open my thing here. All right. Hey, mister. It's my nephew right there. Oh, the link didn't post. Oh, oops. Okay, hold on. I will. Yeah, the link didn't post. Okay, hold on. I don't know why that didn't happen, but. Okay, I'm going to repost the link again, so give me a second. Same rule still applies, guys. Okay? All right. Anywho, hunger. Okay? There are two types of hunger, okay? One is, of course, the one that we experience every day. That is known as mental hunger. Okay? Mental hunger is the one where your stomach growls and you have you want to eat something, right? Food. Okay? That's known as hunger. All right? That makes you say, I'm hungry, I want to eat some food. Okay? The other one is, of course, the never ending crisis. Okay? Hunger is a big issue, and it's even though we're going through this pandemic, it's still never ends. Even though many food banks and nonprofits are doing everything they can to make sure nobody goes without food, okay, it's still ongoing. Okay, so I'm going to go over some facts today. All right, and if you have any stories that you'd like to share with me about hunger or your experience, the link is in the chat. Just hop on in, and just we can go ahead and listen to your story. But I'm going to go ahead and bring up something. Okay, so give me a minute. I'm going to All right, so let's look at some things about hunger, okay? So I'm going to apply this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply screen share. Then I'm going to go to where are we? Okay, let's go to here. Then we're going to go to here. Okay, let me make sure that this is working. That's an ad. Nothing I can do about it. Okay. Okay, yeah, just ignore that ad that's on there, all right? All right, so I'm going to try my best to read this as best as I can, okay? So hopefully y'all can hear me, but here we go. It says, first thing says, what is hunger? All right. So, everyone feels hungry. Yeah, everyone feels hungry on a daily basis. Okay. Says most are able to satisfy themselves, satisfy this craving and need craving and need. It says even if not immediately they can count on having a meal or snack within hours. All right. It says this is not the type of hunger that 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 bread is concerned with. All right. Like I said, I apologize, guys, but again, I am the only one doing this thing, so bear with me with my very slow reading. Okay. All right, it says people who, and here we go. This is what we're going to be talking about today, okay? So, people who suffer chronic are people who suffer chronic hunger, okay? Don't don't have the option of eating when they are eating when they are hungry. So that goes back to what I was saying in the beginning, is that this pandemic, and especially this month, and I'm going to tell you guys a little local thing here that San Antonio is doing, is that this is a never-ending crisis. Okay, this is a never-ending thing. Unfortunately, there are people out there that, even though they are hungry, they aren't able to get a nibble or two. Okay, that's why we have many nonprofits, etc. Okay, that's why. Hey, PlayStation guy, you know you can come on in if you want to, dude. Feel free to come on in. I will definitely allow you to come on in. Yes. So hunger is something that's never ending. That doesn't mean though that, you know, we're not going to give up to fight. No. We food banks and churches and whatever else, food banks are here for a reason, and we're going to actually look up food banks here in a second. We're going to look up food banks and food pantries. So go ahead and continue with what I was saying. So says says it says they do not get enough. Okay, keep that in mind. It says they do not get enough. They do not get enough essential minerals. Okay, As, uh, oh, I'm sorry, essential nutrients, or 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 both. Uh, oh, hold on. I think I skipped a line. Hold on. Okay, they do not get enough essential nutrients, or both. Okay. All right. Now it says people who are people who are hungry. Okay, have an ongoing problem. Have an ongoing problem with getting food to eat. Okay, so I want to point out that homelessness is actually another um, thing. Okay, okay. Excuse me, guys. All right. All right. Anyways, so homelessness actually plays a huge factor in hunger, and we'll definitely talk about that in just a minute. So they don't get food to eat. All right. Then it says they have a priority, or they have a primary need. Okay. It says how to feed themselves, and their children today. Their children today and tomorrow. They have little uh, they have little energy for anything else. All right, and that is true. Okay, so so let's talk about this for a second. Okay, so reading on. It says did I miss an article? Okay, here we go. All right, so we're going to continue on with this article right here. Okay, it says access and availability of food. And here we go. All right, it says it is commonly known that the cause of hunger to the world is not a shortage of food, but rather access. So, one thing that I want to say is that yes, this is true. So, hunger is not really a shortage of food. Now, no matter what happens, there's going to be food no matter what happens. Okay, people have to get creative. Remember, it is a phase that happens. Okay, it's known as a food chain. Okay, you have the grower. Okay, which means that the farmers are the ones that grow the animals. Okay, the pigs, the cows, the chickens, the the corn, the potatoes, the beans, all your favorite food, your essential food items. And ranchers, farmers and ranchers are the ones that grow the food. Okay, so are many of us home cooks. Okay, but farmers and ranchers are the ones that grow the food. Okay, now we grow animals. Okay, in two different ways. All right. Um, I will talk about that more in just a minute. Let's continue on with this article. Okay. Boy, do I wish I had help. I told y'all this show wasn't going to be as entertaining as it usually is. Yeah, let me check one thing really quick, guys. All right, sorry. All right. Okay, anyways, back to what I was saying. So, it is not a shortage, okay? So, I'm going to continue over here. It says, come on, guys. Okay, then it says, here we go. So it says, some some people are some people are hungry because because food is in food is in short supply. There there are or their area and in their area and for a specific reason. And for a specific reason, it may be because they can or they can't afford to buy they can't afford to buy enough food. Can't afford to buy enough food. It may be both maybe both. Where are we? Okay, here we go. All right. It says some countries have a hunger. Some countries have a hunger season. Says some countries have a hunger season every year. It's when the previous harvest is when the previous harvest is gone and the next harvest is not yet ready. It can last as long as, get ready for this, guys. It can last as long as 3 or 4 months. So imagine that, okay? Now we're talking about seasons that we have, winter, spring, summer, fall. Okay, those are like the same thing. Okay. Now those type of seasons can last for a while. Okay, that's known as a hunger season. Okay, now let's look at let's go up here so I can read this. Okay. It says the U.S. Doesn't have the U.S. doesn't have the kind of hunger season because but for many families there's some weeks are 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 hungrier than others. It says these Alright guys, I'm using my magnifying program, so that's why it's taking a little while. Alright. It says these usually come toward the end of the month as families run short of food before they have money to buy more. So basically, what that means is, um, like, you guys see YouTubers and everybody else, doing their stuff with oh, thank you, Mister. So many people, of course, um, we have these things called meal plans and grocery lists and stuff, which is true because you can only do a month with well, many people usually do either bi-weekly or monthly shopping trips. Why? Because, well, they want to make sure they have enough, food to feed their families. Now, sadly, though, many of them can only buy um, throughout either once every week or, just whenever they have enough money. And sadly, many people don't have enough money to buy what they actually want. Okay, it says people it says people can't simply people can't simply decide to you can't simply decide uh, to spend less on rent, but it but it necessary. It is necessary, which is true, because unfortunately, sadly, many people have to decide: do I either pay this house or apartment with what I have, or do I risk, getting thrown out and just spending money on food because we just need food? That's something that is ongoing, especially during this pandemic. People have to either rely on, you know, you know, unemployment, social security, disability. Sometimes many people don't get enough, um, and they have a hard decision: either to feed themselves and risk having their roof over their head taken away, or risk not eating and just paying to have a roof over their head. Okay. And especially when many of the people or families don't really have that much help. Okay. They depend on other resources. Okay, let me see. Where am I? We are. Oh yeah, less on rent is is necessary. Okay. It says they can spend less on food. They can spend less on food. Okay. It says for many lower. Okay, for many uh, low range for many low-range workers. Okay, it says retirees or people with disabilities. See, that's what I was talking about earlier. Okay, it says and their families. It says even even careful planning cannot stretch even careful planning cannot stretch the grocery budget through, which is actually true. So what they're referring to is that let's see how much this is. I think we are. Oh, this is a long article. Oy, okay. Hold on, guys. Okay, I think I'm going to spend an entire freaking day. But anyways, so to not touch any I'm going to stop screen share for a minute and I'm going to tell you guys something. Okay. So, yes, they do have a point that many people have to make a decision. Okay. It's either to spend more or spend less. And you can't really spend less on rent because you have to give an exact amount when you are paying your rent. Now, does that necessarily mean you can split your bill? Yeah, you can split your bill however you want to split your bill. But the thing is it's just very important that you do that. Okay? So that's basically what hunger is. Hunger is basically like a thing where people just, many people go through it. Now, factors of hunger can be, of course, money is one. Okay. The other one is homelessness. All right. And many other factors. Now, what I talked about earlier about the farmer and ranchers and croppers, okay, those are the main people that we depend on. Remember, the farmer and the ranchers are the ones that grow the food, okay? The cows, the chickens, the pigs, and the croppers are the ones that, the harvesters are the ones that harvest the fruits and vegetables that we eat every day. Okay. Now, there are two ways to grow cattle. Okay, the cow, the pig, the chicken. One is, of course, known as free range. Free range or grass fed. That's when you have something that's known as grass fed. Okay, grass fed is basically you do nothing. Okay, you literally do nothing to it. All right. You feed it grass. You let it grow naturally. And what happens is they end up, how do I put this? So they end up slaughtering the they end up slaughtering the cattle, the animals, when they are either young or fully grown. Grass fed just means that they don't really add any like special additives or hormones or any type of medical interventions. Okay. The other one is rapid growth. Now, rapid growth is a key term, which is pretty much known as they grow rapidly by one thing. And this one thing is known as an anabolic steroid. So steroids are, of course, the drugs that, of course, many people take to either cure any type of illness or disease or infection that they might have. That's usually used for medical purposes. Steroids are usually used for a medical purpose. Now, anabolic steroids, okay? An anabolic steroid is basically a rapid growth hormone. And unfortunately, that is the reason why we get what we get. That is the reason why we get our meat and poultry items pretty much every day, because once they come out of the egg, the chicken comes out of the egg, they start feeding them anabolic steroids. Okay? And what that does is it literally speeds up their growth and metabolism. So that way, the faster they grow, the sooner they can slaughter them. Okay? Now, many people don't like this method because of the fact that, they, just don't like the method of giving a chicken, a cow, or pig a medically enhanced pill in their food. Okay, but a huge percentage of the food that we eat is grown artificially. Okay, so that's known as artificial growth hormones or anabolic steroids. Even the eggs are the same thing. It is also what causes mass production. That's why we get our food faster as opposed to waiting. Okay? Now, that's kind of an unhealthy method. Okay? The healthier alternative and explained the correct eating method is grass-fed or organic. This also happens with our produce. All right? Same thing. They inject them with, rapid growth hormones so that way things can grow. All right? Okay. Now, continuing on with the subject of hunger, okay, I'm also going to talk about hunger in another level, okay? And we're going to talk about hunger in another level, okay? Which means that we're going to talk about how we can fight hunger. All right. So, how we can fight hunger is, of course, by donations, just by pure donations, okay, or volunteering. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that yours truly actually was an intern at the over here at the food bank here in San Antonio, the San Antonio Food Bank. The San Antonio Food Bank serves several counties, like over 40 to 50 different counties, and are expanding. Okay. Now, food banks are a way to actually feed everyone, people that are in need of food. Their food banks' missions are to end world hunger. Okay. Now, it actually isn't going to go away overnight. No, it's going to take a long time. Okay. And the cool thing about food banks, guys, is food banks are there to help in an emergency. Okay. Many people also depend on food stamps as well. Okay. And when people depend on food stamps, they depend on food stamps as their only food source of income. Okay. Food stamps are basically a way to buy your food without having to spend money from your pocket. Okay. It's just another way to purchase food. Food banks are there to give you the food that you need. Okay. Food pantries, think about a food pantry for a second. So a food pantry is basically it is either a site or a convenience location to where they will literally give you bags of 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 a good amount of food that will either get you through either 1 to 2 weeks or a good amount of time. Is it a lot? Sometimes it can be a good amount. Sometimes it can be a decent amount. Okay? Depends on what they give you. Okay? Nowadays, food banks give you pretty much everything. Okay? Meat, poultry, fish, bakery goods, you name it. Okay? That is what food banks do these days. Food pantries are the same thing. They're just another convenient way to get your food when you are in an emergency. Okay? Now, let's sorry guys, I'm looking at my phone. So, I'm going to open screen share and we're going to go over to the next thing. Now, before I actually do that, I do want to say that if you would like to donate to your local food bank, look at your local news or your local newspaper or anything. And guys, you don't have to donate your entire paycheck to the food bank, to your local food bank. Just donate $1, whatever. here in San Antonio, $1 provides 10 pounds of food. Okay. We have this thing called Food for SA in November. And what that is, it is a fundraiser. Okay. It is a fundraiser slash food fundraiser. And what it is every year in November, the San Antonio Food Bank's goal is to raise 1 million pounds of food that will feed a bunch of families and people in need. This year, things are going to be are a little different because this year, since we've had the pandemic, they increased their goal to 2 million pounds of food. And there's two ways you can donate. You can either go to your local, if you live here in Texas or in San Antonio, you can go to your local HEB and pick up non-perishable food items. And usually what they'll do is they'll mail you a bag with a list of things that they need. They're asking for, and it's non-perishable food items that have a longer shelf life. Okay, you buy what they tell you to buy, or you look up the list of what they want you to buy, or what they are requesting you to buy. Peanut butter, canned goods, anything that has a shelf life, rice, beans, anything. Okay, and they have little bins, and they will ask you to drop your food items that you bought or food donation that you bought into those bins. Okay, all those bins get sent to the food bank so that way they can calculate how many pounds of food was raised. Okay, so again, if you would like to donate, you can also go online and donate however much amount you want to donate. Each amount you donate actually goes and feeds a family. And that's just the cool thing about food banks, is that they are there to help us when it is needed. Food banks are actually nonprofits. They are funded by well, we're funded by fundraisers and also grants and whatnot. So again, I used to be an intern at the San Antonio Food Bank back in 2014, 2013, 2014, one of those years. And it was a great experience. Met a lot of cool coworkers, a lot of cool people there. I'm actually personal friends with a few. And their mission was to end world hunger. And just hearing stories and seeing these volunteers and stuff packing up bags and containers to feed families in need was a great experience. So I encourage you guys to go and donate to your local food bank if you're able to, either online or via food donation. Okay, now we're going to talk about another thing, and I'm going to go through this quickly. Okay, diabetes is another thing. Okay, so diabetes. Okay. Many of us here have diabetes. Okay, and there's two types. There's type 1 and there's type 2. Okay, Type 1 is, of course, the diabetes where you don't, you know, you don't need to check your blood sugar as much. Okay. Type 2 is when you have to have more restrictions. Okay. I've known coworkers that I currently work with that actually have. I've known one specifically that had diabetes. Okay. I actually do work with another one that actually has diabetes. Okay. And there's also something known as pre-diabetes. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up. We're going to look at a video, and hopefully I don't get copywritten, but I will be sure to link the original video in the description. So give me a second because we're going to look at something, okay? Hold on, guys. I'm trying to look at an article here. Okay, they give me playlist, but I don't want a playlist. Okay, here we go. We have a 3-minute video. Okay, that I'm going to view here. So give me a moment. Okay, let me make sure the volume's up here, which it is. I'm going to put this on full screen. Okay, then I'm going to make sure this is up here. Let me make sure the oops, hold on, let me make it full screen so I can make sure the volume's up. So it's going to get a little loud, guys. Okay, all right. So there we go. Now we're going to screen share this. So, whoops. Hold on. Okay, let me go back to StreamYard, and I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. All right, so let me go ahead and pull this screen up here. Oh, I gotta, woo! All right, hold on. Okay, let me make sure that this is working. Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, guys, here we go.
In order to understand blood sugar problems, we need to review what a hormone is. Hormones are proteins released from parts of the body called glands. They help to send messages from one place in the body to parts that are farther away. Insulin is a hormone that tells the body to store the energy we get from the food we eat. Insulin is made in your pancreas, a small organ located just below your stomach. Insulin levels go up in response to the different types of sugar eaten in your diet. Rising insulin levels allow sugar to be saved as energy to be used later. Let's take a train ride to try to understand things better. All aboard! Think of the pancreas as if it were a steam engine on an old-fashioned train heading out for a ride through the mountainside. Insulin is the smoke that the train engine produces as it chugs along on its journey. Passing through the valley, the train glides along its track. The steam engine works effortlessly and continuously produces small puffs of smoke. When it travels up a hill, the smoke increases, but only by a small amount and for a short period of time. This represents the normal everyday function of the pancreas. When the pancreas is not overworked, it churns out small amounts of insulin. A small hill represents a meal that results in insulin levels going up temporarily. When the train begins traveling up a very steep mountain, the engine kicks into gear. As the train climbs, the engine burns more fuel, and the smoke output begins to rise. Initially, the speed of the train does not change, and the passengers are not aware of the effort required from the engine. This steep mountain represents pre-diabetes. As a person eats more than what is needed, the pancreas has to work overtime and churn out more insulin. The individual does not feel the stress placed on the pancreas. If the train has to continue up the mountain for a long period of time, the engine will start to burn out and the train will slow, decreasing the smoke produced. Similar to the overworked engine, the pancreas can begin to tire out as well. In diabetes mellitus, sugar in the blood is high for several reasons. The pancreas cannot produce enough insulin because it is overworked. Also, weight gain contributes, causing the insulin you have to not work as well. The end result is that sugar from the diet builds up in the blood. Adding exercise to your schedule and eating less sugar in your diet can decrease the stress on your pancreas and improve blood sugar levels.
All right. So that's it kind of sums up what diabetes is as mentioned. Now, we're going to look at two types, okay? So let me exit. Let's see if I can do that. Here, let me exit full screen. Oh, hold on. Okay, this is a picture. All right. Let me exit full screen. All right. So, okay. All right, now we're going to look at we're going to look at the two types of diabetes just so that way you guys get a better understanding. We're going to look at if I can get there. Oops. No, 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 no. No! Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Sorry. Ignore that. I don't know why that popped up. But anyways, we are going to, I was meant to put type 1. It's type 1 diabetes. Okay, type 1 and type 2. All right, so we're going to look at these now. Okay. This video is 3 minutes long. Okay, we're going to look at this one.
Diabetes refers to a group of conditions characterized by a high level of blood glucose, commonly referred to as blood sugar. Too much sugar in the blood can cause serious, sometimes life-threatening health problems. There are two types of chronic diabetic conditions: type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Pregnant women may acquire a transient form of the disease called gestational diabetes, which usually resolves after the birth of the baby. Prediabetes is when the blood sugar level is at the borderline, higher than normal, but lower than in diabetics. Prediabetes may or may not progress to diabetes. During food digestion, carbohydrates, or carbs, break down into glucose, which is carried by the bloodstream to various organs of the body. Insulin is a hormone produced by beta cells of the pancreas and is necessary for glucose intake by target cells. In healthy people, beta cells of the pancreas produce insulin. Insulin binds to its receptors on target cells and induce glucose intake. In type 1 diabetes, beta cells of the pancreas are destroyed by the immune system by mistake. The reason why this happens is unclear, but genetic factors are believed to play a major role. Insulin production is reduced. Less insulin binds to its receptor on target cells. Less glucose is taken into the cells. More glucose stays in the blood. Type 1 is characterized by early onset. Symptoms commonly start suddenly and before the age of 20. Type 1 diabetes is normally managed with insulin injection. Type 1 diabetics are therefore insulin dependent. In type 2 diabetes, the pancreas produces enough insulin, but something goes wrong either with receptor binding or insulin signaling inside the target cells. The cells are not responsive to insulin and therefore cannot import glucose. Glucose stays in the blood. In other words, type 2 diabetics are insulin resistant. Here again, genetic factors predispose susceptibility to the disease, but it is believed that lifestyle plays a very important role in type 2. Typically, obesity, inactive lifestyle, and unhealthy diet are associated with higher risk of type 2 diabetes. Type 2 is characterized by adult onset. Symptoms usually appear gradually and start after the age of 30. Type 2 diabetes accounts for about 80 to 90% of all diabetics. Management focuses on weight loss and includes a low-carb diet.
Okay. So that was kind of a little bit of what, oops, I don't know why I didn't put it in in
Hey guys, Nurse Mike here, and
in full screen, but I apologize. But there you go. So let me go ahead and exit here. So that pretty much sums up everything. Okay. So hunger and diabetes are two very, very serious things. And one thing to mention too is that bulimia can actually play a big role when it comes to diabetes. Okay. Now, the thing that they didn't mention, but I'm going to mention here, is that you have this thing called an A1C, which is, of course, the level of your kidneys. That also plays an important role when your doctor checks your A1C. The number to avoid is 6. Anything at or above 6 is considered either pre-diabetic or diabetic. Okay. You want to make sure you have your A1C under 6. Okay. I learned that because when I had my checkups, I was borderline. Okay. Luckily, it wasn't as bad as it was, as it was before, but I was able to control that. It just told me to, just to lay off the sweet stuff and everything else a little bit. Okay. And of course, proper diet and exercise. Exhaustion, lots of energy, and so on and so forth can play a big role. Okay. So, yeah. Again, donate if you have time at your local food bank. Help families in need. And hopefully everybody has a great week. Thank you so much for joining me on this solo edition of the Home Cook Streamcast, guys. And thank you for being patient with me. If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up as well as subscribe to Lennon's Kitchen. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Lennon's Kitchen. Links are under the About section of this YouTube channel. And I will see you guys next week for the thankful stream, guys. We have a thankful stream next week. Either it might be a cooking demonstration next week. So I do this every year. I did it. I don't think I did. Or did I? I don't think I did my thankful stream last year, honestly. I'll have to look. But yes, the thankful stream will be next weekend, and we'll see what I have planned in store. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. And like always, I'm Lennon from Lennon's Kitchen, and I make cooking easy. I will see you guys in the next live stream. Bye, guys, and have a great rest of your Saturday. And, guys, I return to work on Monday. So I will see you guys again, either with an upload next week or another live stream on Saturday. So have a great rest of your Saturday, everybody. Bye-bye.